Hi there, welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at a particular mystery regarding an unknown person to claim to have found Noah Presgrove's body. Could be interpreted as the first individual. As for their names, supposedly Gary Graves of some kind. A comment posted on a YouTube video to do with a creator covering the Noah Presgrove case at the time. That's what we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to show you a screenshot of it. We're going to look at some discussions from Facebook, the comment section too, what other people are thinking about it. And then I can weigh in my thoughts, the importance behind it, how true it really is, the likelihood, and then compare and contrasting to previous themes and patterns, either in this case or other ones I've engaged with in the past. So be sure to stick around for the full understanding, and welcome to those that are currently here watching this live premiere. Be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the live chat box right hand side of the screen. If you want to drop a comment down below under this video to help spread awareness of the videos and keep the case alive, that would be appreciated. Could be your additional thoughts, some questions, whatever, and I'll try and respond back when I can. You'll also find below a pinned message by me with additional links if you want to support this channel, and if you simply want to catch up on recent coverage by me, top right up there, there'll be the I symbol. Click on that, there'll be a drop down box, the full playlist, and you'll be able to catch up from there. With that all being said, the order of how we'll do things today is I'll take a look at the Facebook post, look at the photo, read it, analyse and read the comments and branch off from there. And if I need to expand, that's what I'll do. I just want to give a bit of a heads up that this video that has been recorded, has been done today, but will be released, I think, New Year's Eve, and then a video recorded on New Year's Eve will be scheduled for Christmas Day. So I am doing it in advance, scheduling it ahead, and I might have a bit of a break in between, you know, because of the time of the year and whatnot. And at least for the day before, when you finally watch this, I would have done a live stream as well. So it's quite busy. A lot going on, but even still at this point, even though it's Christmas, I'm still trying to keep the case alive, but also in similar importance, like Christmas Day, have a video. Hopefully it's long or maybe it's short. Apologies in advance if it is. Just do a video to help keep the case alive, of course, but then also it can be something people can watch if anyone needs a distraction, you know. Or if you want to watch the live premiere and talk with anyone else in the live chat, you might be able to do so. We'll be scheduled same time as usual. I probably won't be there because of being busy, but I'm going to still try and get a video out for people that want to watch. And, you know, and then we go from there a few days on or so and see what other videos that need to be covered. And maybe on and off, I might try and do some Kenny Veach short clips. So I just wanted to give you a bit of a channel update in regards to what to expect and what not to expect, okay? So let's head on over to Facebook now and see what's going on. Here we are. So once again, shout out to Joyce Burgow, 8th of August, 2024. If I may add, this is kind of a viewer requested video, which I may or may not have covered beforehand. I believe I might have seen a brief screenshot in the past, but it might have been lost within a long video. So we can do more focused today. And anything else that has and possibly been covered before, we always return back to and give it more focus what it may deserve. 8th of August. Joy says, okay, everyone, now that everyone knows the 911 callers, their names, Tyler H., Tyler Hardy, let's discuss who this person is that said he discovered Noah. So this person had to have been before the 911 calls, right? Leave both Tylers out of this. They're being good people and did what they were supposed to do. And in fairness, yeah, some people could be, I don't know, criticise Tyler Hardy and say, why you tell Caden Pressey to move away and swear and get angry? Who knows? But at the end of the day, calling the police was the right thing to do. And if it's true that you had a first set of truck drivers earlier, unnamed, unknown people who did F all, that's very questionable. As for Jack Newton, what did Jack Newton think about that then? But that's based off Caden Pressey's timeline, so it holds a lot of weight and possible questions. And I'm going to probably include that in my live stream as in the day before this video, because you got to take it like from the future, going back in time. So we got the photo here, which is a bit dodgy because it's on the side. No clue who this creator is. Probably it's a short clip because of the vertical aspect ratio. Looks like a podcaster with an oversized mic and headphones. I'd probably swallow that mic up with my big mouth. Moving on. 22 hours ago, this was more so in the past. Take that in mind. Gary Graves, what a name, says, I discovered Noah. It was so sad. What? And that's it. Just like that. What a random comment to post. Out of all places you could speak about it as a witness, and how you word it, I discovered him. You were the first. Well, if that's so, then why are you casually talking about it online then? Was any action taken in real life with the authorities, yes or no? It caught the attention of some key people. Joyce said, I couldn't imagine what that must have been like. Sorry to hear that. Everyone is trying to figure out what happened to him. And of all people, Alicia Lee, mother to Caden Pressey, says, were you hauling a cargo trailer? I'm so very sorry that you had to see such a tragedy. Now, at the point back then, when those were not as fully informed with the stories within the case and the switching and changing and the BS, the drama, the conflict, the fakes, the profiles and all of that, people were more trusting, more opening, more willing to listen and see what's being said and hopefully believe in it, and also show genuine emotion, condolences towards others who may have been on the receiving end of something bad, such as relevant to the case, such as Gary Graves, who sees a dead person, which won't be a pleasant experience. But is it even true? Or is Gary lying? Is it attention-seeking behaviour? What's really going on here? Because how it's worded just sounds very casual out of nowhere. I'll just put a comment online publicly just like that. Oh, what? Just like the Dylan Rounds or the Kenny Veach case, where a person was last seen to witness the victim either go off and then die or never be seen again. And is that it? It just sounds odd. Not that it sounds like a script, it just sounds made up on the spot, in my opinion. After all this time that's passed by, and we've not really had a follow-up either, that's what's questionable. But if we go to the comment section, I'm going to try and adjust it to all. I want to see what people have to say. Take in mind, old post, old responses, no updates since, I guess. But interestingly, Stephanie Bacon actually shows up. Normally, her profile was hidden in the past, or at least it was towards people that were blocked. Anyway, Sherry Wright, I'm curious, why didn't he stop and call 911 and stay there until the LE got there? Yeah, if it's that sad that you come across a dead person and it impacts you that much, maybe a little bit of care and making a call to someone at least. Lelia agrees. Colleen, I'm curious, only being a 2-lane highway doesn't leave a lot of room for pulling over, but the area had enough room he could pull off just enough and turn on flashes and call police whilst waiting for someone to arrive. I don't know the amount of actual traffic that morning, but I didn't see much about this myself yet. Well, as for actual traffic, it was pushed by Stevie Howard and Jack Newton at one point in the past. Despite being cheerleaders for the hit and run scenario for Noah Presgrove, they also believed that there was hardly any, if not non-traffic whatsoever on the highway. How can you push a hit and run if at the same time you're saying that there's hardly any, if non-traffic on the highway at all? You contradicted yourself. That was a bit of an issue along the way. What I suggested at some point with, common sense was you might rely on the mini mart cameras in Terrell, the town, a little store gas station. Yeah, the cameras might point towards the highway. It may not show any traffic passing through. But what about further up the highway, further north, where there's turn-off points, country roads vehicles could have turned down, roads which go into Terrell, if you was to turn off before you reach Minimart, before you reach the cameras. That wasn't acknowledged, was it? So it was just weird, that reasoning, because there was a contradiction. Sherry, True, probably Caleb Newton or Jack Newton so they could finish setting the fake scene. I have read where there were allegedly 2 truck drivers told they could leave before 911 was ever called. How's that worded? There were allegedly 2 truck drivers, before the Tyler and Tyler Hardy, right? Laura Dodden, and that someone had knowledge to be there. Did he know or be part of it, or a kid called him? Yeah, so this Gary Graves that decided to appear out of nowhere and find the dead body, there must have been maybe a bit of knowledge to have gone there, and if not that, a clear indication that there is a body on the side of the road. I mean, Tyler Hardy, they both saw, but then again, there was something in the middle of the road at that point. So you'd already be distracted by looking at what's on the ground, and then what's on the ground nearby to the right. Shorts, white, in the middle of the road, Noah's body by the side. If there's nothing ahead to begin with, you're not really going to be looking around and looking to your side either. That might be the difference. We have had other witnesses or other people speak out in some way, and we'll get to that later because it's just as important. Stephanie Bacon. Caden Pressey was turned away from someone he didn't know. So this man could have definitely had the same happen. Oh, right. So you think the same happened to him too. But at what time could it have taken place? Before or after Caden Pressey arrived and was turned away? Kelly, I screenshot this. I've been trying to find it. He had to have been the first semi on the scene. But did anyone else witness this individual? Chaz, sad that not one story concerning this case can be kept straight. There seems to be hundreds of different stories to just about everything that took place or supposedly took place. If no one was in on Noah's death, why can't all these people tell the exact same story instead of it wasn't this person, it was that person, or did this happen, that did? There's only one story to tell all this, and so why can't everyone just quit slinging lies everywhere and just be straight up? I know that not everyone knows what happened, but I do know at least 2 people do. You can't tell me Noah just took off walking from the house, made it down to the highway, starts walking down the highway just for a semi to come by, and the mirror bashes Noah in the head, causing all the other injuries as well, and leaving him to die. Does not sound reasonable at all whatsoever. Fair enough. Jack Newton did push that at one point. As for the mirror, Brenda, personally, I think all the confusion, lies, different stories are part of someone's plan. So when Noah's case goes to court, and believe me, it's going to court, they will have lots of reasonable doubt. Stephanie Bacon, I hear you. Then we are said to be attacking and bullying people on here because we pick up on discrepancies in stories. They've told the truth from day one, they say, but this is social media. Nothing is ever really deleted. We've all seen the different stories from different people whom were at the house and their parents. How do we believe anything that comes out different every time? Kind of fool's game. Fool me once, shame on me. But talking about posts being deleted but also witnessing them at the same time, same can't be said about the bloody footage, can it? The shower footage, the side-by-side rollover footage supposedly, which some bits and bobs were posted on Facebook. People remember seeing or watching it but never thought to get a screenshot or save the clip. So that's weird, isn't it? Manda, I can't even seem to agree how Noah Presgrove got to the party to begin with. Is that true? Is that really true? That people didn't know or couldn't work it out how Noah got to the bloody party? As for what day, though, are you talking? I know this is an old post. It might have been resolved, but I wasn't aware at the time. I thought we were aware that Noah arrived at the party on the Saturday in his own vehicle. Then came Sunday after breakfast and after hanging out with people, went back to his place of living. Then later called back by Jack to return back to the party house, but instead of driving back down, partially because of, I guess, damage to his vehicle or a leak of some sort, still damaged, not worthwhile, not cost effectiveness either. Getting a lift by Gage Jessen supposedly, and Mikey Lair being picked up as well, coming to the house for the very first time, and Noah Presgrove returning back. But yeah, there's been other mentions about Carter Combs giving people lifts left, right and centre, but just not Noah. Interesting. How can anyone blame us for believing rumours when in fact that's all that's been going around? If they just get them truth out there, then all them rumours would go away. I do remember seeing a screenshot of a woman's comment that said there was a group of them gathered around with golf clubs, dad included, guessing Caleb Newton, I don't know. They apparently were also standing around taking pictures and videos, but I don't know. Is that Dina Rose making that comment? Or another individual, which maybe Justin Roy got a screenshot of at some point? There was a phase with the focus of golf clubs. Now, the only reason why I would question the golf clubs would be where they ended up and why exactly. And Caden Pressey making a reference and then talking with Dalen afterwards, and it's supposedly being confirmed that they were the same clubs. As for the damage to the clubs, there was a dent or a bent in one. Well, that must be the one used to whack it on Noah's head. Not exactly, because as we heard, Caden Pressey said when Noah came on down with the clubs on the Saturday and they remained there, they use them to smash objects up besides golf balls. And you smash it against other objects and harder things, it could cause damage to the clubs themselves. That recklessness might not be as odd or suspicious there. But for items that don't belong to others to be moved on and hidden or removed, it just seems a bit odd. And then for him to then disappear after that, once it's been found at a scrap house supposedly, is a little bit more strange. What else do we have? Exactly. The person took him. No, the person took him. Like, are you serious? Can't even keep the story straight on who or even rode with. I do know Jack Newton convinced Noah to go back to the party Sunday. And when Noah was wanting to go home, no one would give him a ride. Why? What did they have planned? Well, for Caden Pressey, couldn't give Noah a lift back because Caden had been drinking, didn't want to get in trouble with police, had got in trouble with the police in the past at the age of 18. So there's things like that. Caden worded at some point that, after asking Caden and it being turned down, then Noah went off and asked someone else and someone else and someone else, rejected. And, that can get a bit frustrating, can't it? And that's before the bedroom situation. Amanda, I wonder how many people he asked Noah for a ride and what reason had they given for not taking him? Good point. Besides what Caden Pressey said, what was the reasons behind other people? Such as with Carter Combs, if she's the designated driver, not drunk either, what was the reasoning there? Whitney Pickle, I agree. Bacon, well, I know that. And you amongst several others know that, but can't tell people something they believe they're not doing anything wrong. Jason, I'm new to the group and the case overall, read a lot. Are there solid theories or rumours in the local area that makes any sense? Question. I think I read he lived over 40 miles away. That's true, north. So the distance combined and drinking probably played a big part. Yeah, but Carter Combs designated driver. And yes, but other people from Comanche went there and read that someone actually had left around 2 a.m-ish, headed to Comanche. Don't quote me on that time. Who could that be? We've heard recently mentions about just before 2 a.m. or so, where supposed family members, Justin Roy, ended up leaving the house altogether, or maybe one by one. Things about that. Crystal, so has someone tried finding Gary Graves to ask questions? There we go, a relevant question to this post. I understand him not wanting to just speak to anyone, but he's quite okay speaking publicly and leaving a comment at least. This is what I mean. Sometimes when it comes to humans, they can be very public, they can be very vocal, they give so much, the tease, this and that, and then after that, it just fizzles out and there's nothing after it. And you think, what the hell are you doing? You're putting yourself out there public. You should be aware that there could be questioning, there could be backlash for saying that you're a witness, you've seen something, you discovered it first. And then what? When people respond back, genuinely interested in what you've got to say, any situation really, and you just don't bother proceeding onwards. You don't respond back, or you don't think, right, maybe I should take this privately. Maybe I should speak to someone in the background and maybe answer some questions just for that understanding. But no, we'll just tease, we'll just talk publicly so much. Yeah, and then nothing. It does no good for a case. It does no good for other people. Time wasting, teasing, false signals. It's bollocks at times. Let's be realistic. Does it directly apply here? You can let me know below. Crystal says, but what about LE? They really should speak with him about maybe what Noah was wearing when he saw him, if anything, or if he was naked. Also, what time was it when he saw him? You can see why he may not be comfortable with that. If he's not comfortable, he probably shouldn't be talking publicly in the first place. That's the way I see it. Who's that person? Wait, I can't tell with that profile picture, but is that like a woman bent over in a cat's arse facing the profile picture? Or is that a dog's face? I really can't tell. Anyway, Nina says, if this is legit, I'm hoping that he did talk to LE and gave information that only LE is aware of. Well, if it is really important, we've not heard any updates since. I don't know how you make that out. If so, I would think LE would have asked him to not speak publicly. Yet he did, unless he did first and then didn't proceed onwards after because of being told what you can and can't do. But then again, you would have thought he would have deleted his comment, right? Also, discovering a body would be traumatizing, especially with the injuries Noah had. A lot of people, myself included, would just want to give their information to LE and remain anonymous instead of going public and being overwhelmed by questions and accusations. Of course, going through a traumatic experience can alter your mind and your actions later on and how you may respond or how you may not respond. It depends if your body shuts off, you try distracting yourself, but then it can also impact your memory recollection. And Teresa, or maybe he has been paid not to talk. What else? What podcast was this? Marcy Hansen, I'd like to know, so there's no response. Tim Daniel, I don't know who the first Tyler is, do you? Tyler H. Not Hardy, but a different H. So no, we don't know who both the 911 callers are. Well, we do now. We only heard from one Tyler. No, we didn't. I'm being told there is no first Tyler. Incorrect. He slipped up big time. They did not mention a naked body or clothing in the first call. I found that call suspicious. Take in mind, these are old comments, so people weren't quite aware. People keep saying Tyler Hardy called twice. What if he was both Tylers? Tyler Hardy called twice. Tyler H called once. Tyler H called first. Tyler Hardy called second. Failed call, bad signal, static. Tyler Hardy called third, final time. Well, he called for the second time, but it was the third final call. Okay? And that was successful at 5:53. One of the more memorable timestamps, which supposedly is one of the more official timestamps. Out of all of the timestamps within the Noah Presgrove case, would most people agree that 5:53 is really the only solid official timestamp, which has not really changed? Yes or no? Leave a comment below. Stephanie, it would seem so random for someone to call in and just give off Tyler as a name, then have it to be an actual Tyler. See, the police recording what I played on my channel supposedly wasn't good enough because elsewhere it had more of the conversation where the person revealed their full name, but there was a bleep or something. Voices are different, yeah. Phone number is different, supposedly. I just remember someone saying the other day, 911 released a statement or log that said TH's number showed up twice in the logs. Yeah, static, Mysterious third call was a static call from TH, but it wasn't the third call, it was the second call, wasn't it? To be honest, we don't need to focus too much with this because I was hoping we'd be focusing more on this other individual. Really off as well. He describes it as something he saw as he was driving. So the first Tyler H in the truck, as he was describing it casually, he saw as he was driving by a line of cars behind him, but doesn't mention anything about turning around or returning to scene. Well, I thought that's how it was worded. Now, maybe not being able to turning about in the moment, because maybe driving? I don't know. I mean, just a quick question. When Tyler H, not Hardy, but the other one, Tyler H, the first caller that called into dispatch, was it hands-free when calling? Or was he stopped by then? I don't know. When the operator was asking, like, someone's laying in the road, and he said, unless it was a dare, but it looked like a body, you'd think you'd say something like, but I'm turning around to double check. But he did in the end, though, supposedly. I think that's what Tyler Hardy said, as like a witness. I also thought it was later said that he waited to call until he had already returned to confirm what he saw, but I could be wrong. The line of cars doesn't make sense to me for obvious reasons. Why is that? None of those cars noticed a body on the side of the road. But you got to take in mind the cars behind a truck will be focused more on what's in front of them and not by what's by the side. You want to rear end someone. It's okay if you're at the front of the line, you can look straight ahead, look to your side, not as many consequences. But when you're close together in a convoy or a line of vehicles and you're behind, and there's some vehicles behind you, you've got to be more focused so you know what speed to go at, when to brake and when not. You look to your side just for a brief second, and if the truck in front stops, you rear end it and you're screwed, aren't you? As for Tyler H., who was in that truck at the front, he said he couldn't stop because there was cars behind him, including Tyler Hardy in the Ford F-150 pickup truck, which was supposedly white, I believe. So that's interesting. You could understand if the vehicles are kind of close together, maybe the truck couldn't brake quick enough, or if it did brake quick enough, it would cause vehicles to plough into the back, so it wasn't ideal. But someone like Tyler Hardy, that may have been at the back of the queue or line, was able to pull in, had more time to do so, possibly. What else do we have? All decided not to call 911. Well, not everyone may have seen. Come on. Because you've got to take in mind that female driver at some point, why did she not see anything? We'll get to that later. It struck me as odd that he isn't sure it wasn't there, but felt comfortable saying what he thought had happened to the body he saw. Someone walking down the highway was hit by a car. It just seems like an oddly specific assumption to make and very on brand for the hit by car narrative that was pushed for a while. The caller just sounded young, not just the tone pitch of his voice, but the way he spoke just made me envision a college-age guy, not someone... It didn't sound young to me, to be honest. Driving inside a semi-truck is loud as F. You can hear the sounds of passing cars during that call. Passing cars, is that so? So I don't know how the loud diesel engine would be picked up as a background noise unless the driver was stopped with the engine off, but I've seen anything about the driver stopping, then calling, and then returning to the scene. We got Sharon, but a different Sharon. Sounds like he couldn't or didn't want to believe what he saw, so he says maybe it's a deer. I've never driven a semi, but I can imagine he probably had to process what he first saw, slow down. I think the other thing you've got to take in mind is when you're out in the US and you're on the highways or rural areas and you're driving down a long stretch of a road, maybe it's quite common for like hitting animals or deers and bits and bobs along the way. You think of some of the party goers and their kill count with animals, it's a bit crazy. Would that be Carter or Avery? But nevertheless, you know, you might just initially process it by default in your mind that, oh, there's something dead there, must be an animal. It's not going to be a human, is it? Can't be a human. Oh, it is. Oh, right? Almost like a routine. And when it's not the same routine, it's odd. Tim Daniel, you make great points. I actually went one whole day once with a British accent, not even realising I was doing it. Okay. Well, I once did an American accent in a gay tone, and to be honest, if I did that gay American accent for too long, I'm more likely to be holding someone's bags than rather their hands. Moving on. Sharoy says Ellie could definitely get an ID for the first caller, as they would have the number at the 911 call centre. Oh, he always does that. Tamila, I was never really for sure about that one. Dale, I guess law enforcement must know who it is by the phone number. George Chedden. The guy is into shark videos and reggae music and enjoys randomly commenting everywhere, so let's not discuss him. Now, who's that? The guy is into shark videos. Who? Well, the person that's commented up there is into shark videos. And? What does that really mean? Does it really mean much? Now, I'll give you my analysis right now. First of all, one argument you could put across is, oh, because this individual who's spoken publicly online and left a comment like that, who may have reached out to police at some point before or after that was posted, and that's why things have gone silent since. You could say, well, not much has happened, or we've not really heard much, so that must mean maybe it's a fake. It didn't happen to begin with, or it's just not that important enough. I mean, you got to compare and contrast with the supposed other claims by people either in the case discussion page, I think more so at some point back then, some months ago in relation to murder footage, highway footage, tampering, and maybe recording the murder and, oh, it's being handed over to the right people and to the FBI or to the police or the OHP or something. Well, what's happened since? If it's that important, if it's that groundbreaking, has it really led to anything? No. But then equally, with other partygoers that have cooperated with police in the background but not publicly online the same way as Ken Pressey, oh, they've done what they've done, said what they've said. Well, if it's that important, then shouldn't it have led to something by now? A resolve, names being ticked off a list, innocence, more developments. It's just not really going anywhere. The counterpoint to it all is all these different features could be individually important and unique to themselves, and they are building blocks as for this whole case and investigation. It sounds like nothing's happening, but maybe there are things in the background. You might have to compare it possibly to the, was it Wairika city manager, that bold guy, where the investigation started January of 2024, and then a few months ago reached ahead and was arrested in regards to dodgy activity, inappropriate stuff in regards to people of a younger age and whatnot, and material photos and all kinds of stuff on a device or a file. So that took time, was in the background, not of public knowledge up until it reached ahead and out of nowhere, then it became public knowledge. As for the Noah Presgrove case, to an extent public knowledge as in this is what's happened, but as for the outcome or the resolve unknown of, is that being worked on in the background? There's been some false promises and maybe false claims where people have said by the end of this week it'll be solved. A few months on, it hasn't been. So what was the point of that? And it will be familiar named individuals that you've seen and heard yourself that have said it's reaching a point, it's almost at the end, almost completed, breaking news will be coming out by the end of this week. It never happened. So what was the point in hyping it up? What is the point of hype men, hype women? What is the purpose? You build something up, you gather, raise people's interest and excitement to end up creating a lot of false hope. See, in the past, when I made reference to the people that jump the gun and almost discredit or end up destroying a theory or a concept within a community to create a mockery, it's almost like they've been added in to cause damage, plant a seed of doubt, plant a seed of disruption, which will eventually lead to that theory, that concept, the credibility of it imploding on itself and making everyone else look stupid when they've been genuine. So could the same be done as in playing with people's emotions, manipulative, emotional manipulation of some sort? Would those people be sent out by someone? But it just sounds so desperate if people were sent out to do this and that. I'd argue and say that maybe at times it can be more simplistic, the reasoning behind it, that what you basically have are some people over emotional, charged and passionate, maybe genuine, but they don't always quite see it clearly. They might not always be realistic. They might think the best within a case as for the outcome, as for the victim, as for progress. They might try and see, feel more, and then tell other people and hype others up. But it's meaningless because there is nothing at that moment. That's why you need a cold, dark, realistic person, just like myself, to set the record straight, or at least make predictions so you know what to expect in the future. More so for damage limitation, because there's nothing worse than false hope. There is nothing worse than mixed signals in many different ways. It's cancer, it's destructive, it's messed up, and there's many humans out there in different forms and ways that will participate in it, intentionally or more so unintentionally. And once again, you need a realistic bastard like myself to be present to try and cleanse it. Okay? When it comes to me, I might not be able to do much, but whatever I do, even if it's on a basic level, will have a bit of meaning behind it, or at least be somewhat clear. Just like positivity, only basic, but goes a long way compared to patronizing positivity, fake, false positivity. I've seen a lot of that over time. Okay? That's what separates me from most. Okay? So I'll just reiterate that once again. But with that all being said, with this particular guy speaking out publicly online with what they've had to say, that's if it is a he. It's a he name, but could be the opposite gender. Who knows? Could be a fake account. You never know. Yeah, people like to jump onto that trend of, oh, it must be a fake account. Default profile picture must be a fake account. People will have default profile pictures on their channel if they aren't even willing to create much content on the channel in the first place at times. And some people are lazy and other people don't see the point in changing the profile picture. If you want to personalize it so it's more for yourself, represents you better, then you do that. And if you don't feel comfortable, you don't want to show yourself, your voice, your face, you don't have to. You're not forced to on YouTube. Obviously with me, you see the profile picture. That's me. You see me. I see, well, I don't see you. I make it easy for everyone because I show my face, show my voice, show my thoughts to an extent, and body language and everything. So if people want to analyse and assess, they can, but 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, most humans that try and analyse me, it goes very wrong because it tends not to be accurate, but it's what it is, separates one from all. But that aside, I would say, from my experience, a person like that talks casually online and says, oh yeah, I was the first to discover, okay, with no follow-up either, could possibly be a fake, a time waster, bit of an attention seeker, right? Honestly, if they did reach out to police, well, they shouldn't have made that public comment in the first place, probably. If they reached out to the police after that, then that previous comment should have been deleted, taken down. And has it been? I don't know, because all we're seeing is an archived screenshot. Maybe if you go back to whatever that person's channel was, no name given, unfortunately. Besides Gary Graves, you may search his name. Will it show up? Maybe, maybe not. Will the comments show up? Not really. You'd have to access it a different way, whether that be Wayback Machine, which never works for me, or you find the original source of the video which the comment was on, but finding that actual video and that name of the channel, no mention at all. So once again, lacking a bit of context, which is very unfortunate. As for future replies, who knows what that will say. But in comparison, Kenny Veach case, people have left comments on my channel and on the victim's channel in the past about, oh yeah, I went out to the cave once and I saw Kenny Veach. Then I came back home, the end. Okay, well, if that's really true, you made no attempt in reaching out or trying to spread some awareness or call police or call family members or try and reach out to someone or maybe take a photo now. Just very lackadaisical, casual. Oh, well, what good does that do? Likely a fake comment, a fake story, but still, if anyone was to have a certain experience and it's just done so casually, what's the meaning behind it? What is the point? And sometimes when it's that casual, it wasn't that thought out, which means a lazy story. Sometimes you look at the profile picture, you look at the channel, if it's a person of a younger age, and sometimes there's signs that can give that away and suggest it, well, they're just being imaginative with their mind, and that is all. Maybe they're not doing it intentionally to cause true harm or damage, but because their mind is underdeveloped at that point in process in life, they're not going to think of the consequences the same way as older people. But then again, older people can slip up too, right? But still, there's been countless comments with time. Some say it with more confidence, some say it with more creativity, some may include even some additional stats or statistics to sound more intelligent than what they really are, know what they're doing and saying, but still turn out to be a fake. It doesn't help down the line. It can cause long-term trust issues. And it seems to be with most true crime cases, there are trust issues. Oh, it's because the internet's dropped. No, doesn't matter where the fuck you are in this world, there can be trust issues. And that's what messes it all up. Pre-existing, current, past, future, can happen at any point, any time. Some worse than others, some more long-lasting than others. And it doesn't help in the future either. But as for cases, because I'm not within the case as like a victim or victim's family or friend, and there's no conflict of interest, no deep emotional connection either, I don't get led astray the same way as maybe other people do, and I'm not deceived as much, and I'm not left disappointed as much. So I can't be manipulated to that extent in that way. I can't develop trust issues in that way. The only way trust issues that could come about is if there was information with time, believed in it, covered it, then it was detrimental to my channel and had very bad consequences, thus meaning in the future I might have trust issues, I might not listen as much, I might not do as much because I want to protect my channel physically and in other ways as well. That's not happened yet. But there's been some moments where it's got a little bit messy. So I've had to take that into mind, at least for trying not to jump the gun. As a heads up, any odd humans which may have an obsession or still harass, yeah, still present. As for a prediction that I made, I got it right yet again. And that was simply put, certain content which may attack me disappears, I've been taken down, going dark. No. Still there, now public once again. Some could say slanderous, others could just simply say a load of bollocks, but it's still there, it's out there. I predicted it, is what it is. So, was there anything else to refer back to? As for Tyler, or Tyler Hardy, that I guess could be for a separate discussion. As for comments on the channel in recent time, they don't quite fit into today's video. The live chat has been quite vocal, maybe last night, or more so the night before, which is interesting to see. Who knows how it will go down again. It was funny because I actually made another prediction, obviously these pre-recorded videos, and then later uploaded as a live premiere later on in the night. And I actually said that, oh, no, Milo, I'm talking about this and that, and it's probably a complete chaos in the chat right now. And it was. So, mind reader. Technically I'm a mind reader, but I don't know everything, and I don't know everything in the future, which is very unfortunate and dark. But despite the uncertainty, the same can apply to this case as well. Don't need to apply it to the maps at this moment. If I had any questions to throw out there, which may not be answered, but you know, as you normally would have questions regarding this person called Gary Graves, would be, what vehicle were you in? Obviously, what time did you arrive? What made you stop or pull over? Were you passing by? Did you turn back round? What direction were you coming from? How old are you? Are you from the area? Are you aware of the party at the time nearby? Are you connected with any of those family members? Stuff like that. Now, the other witness event, and as for the time, I don't think a time was exactly given, unless it was at 4:48 a.m. I could be wrong, but supposedly 4:48 a.m. is when a woman was supposedly driving same direction towards Terrell as Tyler Hardy, but at 4:48 earlier on, to go down to the casino because she works there. And when driving on down, at some point 2 to 3 miles away from Noah's body, a side-by-side, no colour given, appeared out of nowhere and scared her. Was that side-by-side from the party house? Maybe, maybe not, because they were there at the party at some point, side-by-sides, as we know. How many were in the vehicle? Unknown of. Who was in the vehicle? Unknown of. What gender? Unknown. Age? Unknown. What direction were they coming from? From the party, away from the party, from near to the scene, going towards the scene? Unknown of. Done a map analysis of it anyway to spread awareness. You can always look back on my channel to find that video. But still, interesting story. Problem is, there was no follow-up. Oh. Were any additional questions answered? No. Oh. Was it directly from the horse's mouth either? No. Oh. It was actually said by a friend of the witness. What's the point of that? Why can't the witness talk themselves? Was that another made-up story? Or a genuine one which may not have any appliance to this particular case, but it just happened to be within the area of the case? Makes you wonder. So, I think what we've got to acknowledge is, you got people within the community say this and that, and sometimes poor language and wording, and other times rumours turn into facts. You got different oppositions. You got Caden Press, Elisha, and then the rest, Army Page, some discussion, supporters, and then against the darker forces, which people call it that, supposedly Brooke Brown-Carter, Sarah Long, Stevie Howard, Jack Newton, maybe Milan family, Newton family, etc., Combs, and whoever else. Okay, one side say this, the other side say that. What's true, what's not, what changes, what doesn't, what's real, what's fake. Well, yes, you got those tiers of opposition from both sides. I think it's worth acknowledging the tier of the general public outside of Facebook who may claim this and that happened, that they saw this and that, and we saw an example today. With the exception on Facebook that of a friend of a witness saying that a woman driving down saw a side-by-side out of nowhere. These, whether you call them miscellaneous, separate events, standalone encounters, witnesses who are not from the party, just members of the general public who have not as much of an inclination or clue as to what's going on at the time or the relevancy to the party and who was there and who wasn't, or who Noah Presgrove was, maybe. But standalone events, standalone people passing by without much of a biasness or connection to anyone at the party should be able to look at it a bit more fairly and balanced to the best of their ability. But on these particular occasions with these very important supposed events taking place, no follow-up whatsoever. That's the problem. There might be follow-ups with people within the case and opposition versus opposition, where it be leading to something being debunked, reinforced, people being called out, drama and conflict as we've already seen, and as it still continues to this day. Some people getting attacked, some supposedly getting hacked, others supposedly getting harassed, and much more. What about the ones that go under the radar? Random members of the general public who just so happen to be in the area at the time, as they claim, and they saw this or that. They get questioned, but there's no follow-up, and it's not followed up anymore after that, so it just fades away. Is it best if it fades away? Maybe it fades away because it's a load of BS and it meant nothing, maybe, but like with the Dylan Rounds case, there were certain details there which faded away with time, never to be brought up again because they were lies, BS, told by idiots. But with some of them, I tried questioning over and over again to get an answer, and I did, and it led to it being, debunked. Cleaning up the mess along the way. If you don't clean it up and you just let it become dormant, it may creep back up again in the future. And if not, it's just more trash and rubbish to sort through, especially for new people that may come to a case and then pick it up and think, oh, what's this all about? If you can debunk it immediately, you create the stepping stones for people in the future to come along and progress quicker than the originals that had to sort through all the mess. I'm not an original in this case, but there is still a clean-up job along the way, right? So I think there's a certain sector within this case which goes a bit unnoticed at time, falls under the radar, unfortunately. But then again, the theme of certain items of interest or actions or events, certain slight details, condition of shorts and other bits kind of get forgotten about, or an aggressive argument between Noah and Jack and Kane having to break it up kind of gets forgotten about. It's unusual. I mean, to be honest, Alicia Lee did do a response in regards to the shorts, and it was a public comment, I think. But I don't know if it's worth showing a screenshot, if the screenshot's available, but maybe I do it as a standalone video. But what I will say is, just on the spot, and anyone's briefly listening, is that when I did my video and I shared it elsewhere onto a different platform and said that the shorts were ripped, not coming from me, but like a quote from what Partners in True Crime said, because they claim to have seen the black shorts ripped, torn, tatters. Alicia Lee said they weren't ripped. Right, so what condition were they in then? Why are Partners in True Crime wrong if they saw it for themselves? Seems to be there's a bit of a disconnect between Alicia Lee and Partners in True Crime there in regards to the shorts. That's quite a major thing, that, isn't it? So I want to know your thoughts about that. It was only a brief thing that popped up at one point, but it was worth acknowledging. I think we'll leave it there for now. We'll see what happens next, but hopefully you found the video somewhat interesting. Just wanted to spread awareness of this particular event, which may not be remembered and others may have just simply forgotten about or put to the side. Who knows what answers come around, but if you want to share the video and hit the thumbs up, that would be appreciated. My name is White Ref. See you next time. Goodbye. Good night for now.